Today we're about to break down revelations from the Epstein files, released just days ago. These 3.5 million pages aren't just paperwork. They're a roadmap to a world of rituals, experiments, and control that the deep state doesn't want you to see. Today we're breaking it all down in a no-holds-barred script. We'll connect the dots on baby-eating rituals, time travel experiments, Bitcoin's shadowy origins, why Pizzagate was real all along, transgender agendas targeting kids, the big names like Gates, Musk, Clinton, Trump, and even H.W. Bush's rape allegations, The Simpsons engineered predictions, Bill Gates's pandemic plotting with Epstein, how NYC Mayor Zohran Mamdani is a deep state pawn, and finally, the wild theory that Jeffrey Epstein is still alive, hiding in Israel as a billionaire. Buckle up, this is going to shake your worldview. 1. The horrific rituals, baby eating, and the Moloch temple on Epstein Island. Let's start with the most disturbing part. The mentions in the Epstein files of elites, celebrities, and powerful figures heading to Epstein's Little St. James Island, not just for parties, but for something far darker. Human trafficking, kidnapping, and yes, even eating them as part of satanic rituals. I know this sounds insane, but the files back it up with disturbing allegations. In one FBI email chain from 2019, a victim describes witnessing ritualistic sacrifice on a yacht, bodies being dismembered, their intestines removed, and people eating them. This wasn't on the island, but the files connect it to Epstein's network. Protesters and online investigators are screaming about Moloch rituals, straight out of ancient texts, where the demon Moloch demands sacrifices. And guess what? Epstein's Island had a creepy, blue and white striped temple building with a golden dome, zodiac constellations on the ceiling, and even a statue of Poseidon. But in reality, it's a nod to Moloch, the Assyrian god of sacrifice, influenced on some Israelites as per Old Testament warnings. And now we know that this is real, and Moloch rituals were happening at the Epstein Island. Abuse, torture, and death on the hands of the elites. One victim tip to the NYPD claims Epstein, Bill Clinton, and George H.W. Bush were involved in rapes on that yacht. Now let's talk about the photos. Files show Epstein with young girls, faces redacted, but one infamous image has him with a blurred girl on his shoulders. Now there is a chance that it's linked to John Benet Ramsey, who died mysteriously. And this could be true, since we all know that Epstein's victims often disappeared or died young. Now connect all the dots. All the trafficking feeds these rituals to appease demons like Moloch, keeping the elite powerful. They all believe in power through sacrifice, and the deep state thrives on it. 2. Time travel experiments, biological consequences, and mutants. Now, an email in the files mentions time travel and its biological consequences, even mutants. Epstein was CC'd on a 2011 message from Harvard professor Martin Novak to MIT's Seth Lloyd. We should explore the biological consequences of time travel. It would be amusing to calculate the rate of evolution of a population, or a mutant, that can travel in time. My theory is that Epstein's elite circle wasn't just funding science. They were experimenting with time machines. And there is a possibility that as biological consequences, these humans were dying or mutating in tests. Files mention mutant in genetic contexts like CRISPR, but tie it to Epstein's transhumanism obsession. He funded Harvard and MIT, surrounded by papers on gene therapy and biological consequences of abuse or experiments. Imagine elites time traveling to manipulate history, but bodies warp, mutants created, hidden away. Files have semantic collisions of science and crime, but that's cover. Why else discuss time travel evolution? They were investing in machines, experimenting on trafficked victims, and then they covered deaths as suicides. Bitcoin's CIA, Epstein roots, controlling decentralized money. For me, this is the wildest theory so far. Epstein was not just hanging around scientists and politicians. He was deep inside the early crypto world. There are texts and emails showing him funding the MIT Media Lab and moving around the first Bitcoin circles. Now here is the part that makes people uncomfortable. In a 2016 email, Epstein straight up claimed that he had spoken to the authors of Bitcoin. Not developers, not researchers, the authors. And then comes the timing. Epstein reportedly contacted Gavin Andresen, the man who took over after Satoshi vanished, just days before Andresen went in for a CIA briefing. So the question is simple. Was Bitcoin really born as a freedom tool? Or was it always being watched, guided, and quietly shaped from the shadows? Now here is my theory, and this is where it goes completely off the rails. What if Bitcoin was never truly decentralized to begin with? What if it was a CIA or Israeli intelligence operation, with Epstein either involved from the start or acting as a handler? Even the name Satoshi Nakamoto feels strange. Some people translate Satoshi as Central Intelligence. Epstein did not just appear out of nowhere. Ghislaine's father had deep intelligence ties, and it is possible Epstein inherited that role. A new generation asset. Now think about blockchain, a perfect system to move money across borders, fund operations, and leave almost no traditional trail. It is the cleanest laundering system ever invented if you control the core. And if elites secretly control a so-called decentralized currency, then there is no escape. The system looks free, but it is still owned. Even Elon Musk's loud Bitcoin support starts to look different through this lens. 4. Pizzagate is real. Code words in Epstein files prove it. Pizzagate is a 2016 theory that elites ran a child ring from Comet Ping Pong, using pizza as code. But this was dismissed as conspiracy, until now. But now when you deep dive into the Epstein files, you can see 900+ pizza mentions. FOIA logs show requests for pizza/hotdog/pasta in Obama emails. Podesta emails had pizza oddities, cheese pizza, or CP, or you know what, I am not going to spell the word, else YouTube will ban the video. But you understand, right? We can clearly see that group texts are using pizza as a code. They are talking about pizza parties, even when Epstein hated real pizza. There are many emails with secret codes like head count for pizza, pizza-related map, and how can we miss winking at pizza. 6. Transgender ideologies, enforcing on toddlers via Epstein network. When I went through the material and then looked at the clips from congressional questioning, one part stood out. Thomas Massie is pressing the FBI about what they have and what they are sitting on. And then he pivots into this claim that there's a coordinated push into schools around gender topics, like it's not random, like it's a program. If you read these emails, you will understand that elites were trying to push transgender ideologies on kids as young as 3 for control, to break families and normalize abuse. So that's where we're ending today, but this is not the end of the story. These files don't just describe one man's crimes. They point toward a network, a pattern, and a level of protection that makes no sense unless powerful people were involved. And the biggest question is simple. How did this go on for so long, in so many places, with so many warnings, and still get contained? The next breakdown drops in a few days, and we're going even deeper. Names, timelines, and the parts most people won't touch. So save this, share it, and comment what you want me to investigate next. Subscribe, because part 2 is coming.